Okay, welcome back to the back patio where the sun is going down, and I now have my little friend here who's going to hopefully keep the sound a little better quality than it was last time, so you're not hearing the highway and the airplanes and such. We'll see. I want to get into what happened last week, pretty light week in general, and really spend some time on the tip and just kind of where I'm at right now with things. Let's get into it. So, as mentioned, this was a relatively light week, and some of that's just because it's been hard to book myself this last couple weeks because as I reach out to places, I don't have any availability that I can really offer them right now. So, I'm taking a step back, I'm making sure I'm taking care of myself, and when there is time off, that's not the worst thing. There's a lot of administrative stuff I can do. We had a gig on a Thursday and a gig on a Monday, kind of bookending the weekend. And the Thursday gig was a private event playing for the same person who hired me for the preschool gig. So this was at her house doing a backyard party, and it was just delightful. Really cool little spot, pretty cozy. I've noticed it's very variable when you're playing in private settings, what kind of environment you're going to be in and what kind of sound needs there are. I was actually slightly too loud for a second there, and I was able to adjust it down and get everything right where I needed it to be. But really appreciative crowd. A lot of the folks who are actually there as guests, many of them actually are event organizers themselves, just like the person who hired me. So extremely good for networking, which is well timed as I'm getting ramped up. And in particular, I was able to let them know that I'm not going to be able to play for 6 weeks or so. So hopefully that will bear some fruit in 2024. But regardless, great time. Really enjoyed it. Very grateful to the person who hired me. So if they're watching, thank you. I did actually have kind of a mini gig on the weekend. I'll show some B-roll of this, but I had my stream over at twitch.tv/ricksandersmusic up and running on Sunday. It was my first time doing the stream from this new location. I think because I had a light weekend, I felt a little like I wanted to practice performing and also reconnect with some folks that I see online. I'll probably be doing that again this week. But at any rate, it was nice to kind of get out there and see folks from the stream, and they got to see a lot of advancement because it's been probably 5 or 6 months since I streamed. And the setup is a little better, I think. I don't need headphones in the studio, so I'm able to kind of perform more naturally, a little more like I would in a live setting. So that was kind of, it was rewarding, I would say. I also take a lot of requests on the stream, so if you're watching this now and you want to get involved in that, feel free to shoot me a message or just look for me on twitch.tv/ricksandersmusic. At some point I may move that to YouTube, but I don't want to push that too hard because I have a break coming up. The other official in-person gig that I did was at a place that sadly it was their closing day, their last day. I kind of made that one happen by offering to play music for them. I knew the owner and the kind of community of folks there. There's a lot of local musicians that play at an open mic there most Mondays. So I was there last Monday, did the open mic, and then I talked to the owner and said, he's obviously feeling a lot of feelings right now. It's the end of the business for him. And I said, did you want me to play music for your last day? And he said, sure. So I'm going to use this opportunity to segue into the tip. The vibe was very somber at first, and I've been in different situations where it feels like the music is almost conflicting with the vibe, or just the audience are just not landing, and that's why I call this one Keep the Faith. The idea of keeping the faith was that I went into a situation, I got there early before they opened, and I was ready to set up, and the owner was pretty down for understandable reasons. And the beginning of that gig was marked by, I think there were 2 regulars and the bar owner, and it's a pretty long corridor, so there was no one near me. And they weren't really responding to the music, and that's not so surprising. I was basically offering to do it in the hopes that, as it built up, it would just really augment the atmosphere that was there. And the good news is that did happen. Like, it happened about an hour in. So there was a period there, though, where I'm playing to the backs of heads or seemingly people who aren't really in the mood, where you can really doubt, wait a second, what am I doing here? Actually, my friend David Shanhun, the live looper from New Zealand, has started doing a podcast series, and his most recent episode was about how this isn't for everyone. And I understand why. There's a lot of emotional labor to make sure you're doing this for the right reasons, and to remember why you do it. And I think that that's kind of the mentality that I was kind of actually asking myself that question as I listened to David's account. And what I go to in my case is something that my voice teacher taught me about playing music that maybe you don't like that much. And if you've ever been in a cover band, and this is probably true of any instrument, but in particular for singing, what my voice teacher said to me when you're doing a song, you're like, I don't really want to sing this, is don't worry about the song. Go to the place that loves to sing. And that resonates with me, because the reason I'm a musician at this point in my life is because the part of me that loves to perform, the part of me that loves to play music, is dominated every other part of my life. And so when I'm in a situation where things aren't taking off, where the audience is not necessarily engaged, then what I do instead is I go inside. And while people are filtering in, as it did happen in this case, I'm at least remembering why I do what I do, and hopefully that kind of love of doing the thing comes out in the performance. And in this case, it really did work out. I was able to kind of navigate the discomfort of being in a situation where I felt like maybe it had been a mistake to offer my services in this particular way. But in the end, absolutely worked out. Absolutely grateful that I went. The end of the night, the owner shook my hand, very grateful. The audience showed up. It was the busiest I'd ever seen that place, which is always a little ironic, a bitter irony, I think, when you're shutting down. Your last day is a blowout day and everyone comes up for the party. But it did really help, and I was super grateful. A good friend of mine actually showed up there, someone I met at that community, and I had him play during my break, because the whole vibe of the place is very community. And then while he was playing, some other folks came in, and by the time I got back to performing my second set, we had a pretty lively audience. There's some kids dancing. There were some people coming forward to enjoy the music. Just a wonderful response, and really kind of sweet. I ended my set with closing time, and like for me and for everyone there, it kind of hit a little different. Those times at the beginning when, you start playing, there's no one there, and in that case, it wasn't even clear I was necessarily even welcome. I thought that maybe the owner was having second thoughts about saying yes to that offer, but it definitely worked out. And sometimes it won't. That's the other thing I need to remember. It's not that if you just believe hard enough, it's going to work out. Sometimes it won't, but you have to believe the next one will, or enough of the next one's will, that it's fine when sometimes it doesn't. Don't take it personally. Go to that place that loves to perform. Go to that place that loves to play music, sing, play guitar, play piano if that's what you do, whatever you do, and just ride that. So that's the idea of keeping the faith is going to be pretty important to me over the next few weeks. So I'm going to have one more episode. The next episode will feature some past gigs from the week, probably including another stream. So check out Twitch if you're curious about that. I hope you're doing well. I hope you have a great day. And I will have some footage from this gig as well. I've got some videos coming. I posted another one last week, and I'm going to have a couple more coming probably before the next episode airs. So I will talk to you soon, and you have a great one. Cheers.